Now we turn to my beleaguered home state. 6 months after pledging to address California's affordability crisis, our state lawmakers have yet to present a comprehensive plan. Of the 697 bills facing a legislative deadline this week, only 9 pertain to affordability, focusing mainly on housing, utilities, internet access, and wage theft. Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas and Senate Pro Tem Mike McGuire have proposed separate solutions, but have not reached a unified agreement. Their joint statement criticized Republicans without outlining a clear strategy of their own. While some housing bills like AB 609 and SB 607 have gained traction, measures addressing fuel and food costs remain uncertain. Republicans have initiated a, quote, cost of living week to highlight Democrat inaction, and industry experts warn that some legislative proposals may inadvertently increase consumer prices. Joining us now is Leo Zacky, gubernatorial candidate and agricultural entrepreneur. Hi, Leo. Now, given the legislature's lack of a cohesive plan, what immediate steps should be taken to address California's cost of living issues? And as governor, what would be your solutions?
Well, I mean, the problem is we have too many regulatory processes here in California. It's a lot of red tape that makes the process of building a home take a lot longer, and also the cost to acquire those materials take a lot longer. But there's so many other facets too. I mean, when you talk about energy and oil, I mean, the fact that California is now going to be shutting down several refineries and the gas prices projected to hit over $8 in 2026 is a huge problem here for the cost of living in California. We have a sea of oil in California that we are not tapping into and using effectively. And it's a resource that we could absolutely be using to not only have some of the lowest gas in the country, but as an additional revenue stream for the state. On top of that, water is one of the other big issues that just makes the cost of living extremely expensive. It's not just about watering your lawn or taking short showers. It's about the cost of food, because we have such a shortage of water that's artificial because they dump the water into the sea for the Sacramento River smelt that's only being raised in captivity at UC Davis and then released into the wild. Our food prices go through the roof because farmers have to cut back on the crops that they grow. So part of my plan here for California is to create a water abundance project by building out reservoirs and dams, as opposed to what the current administration is doing, which is tearing them down on the Klamath River.
Yeah, every single time I drive up and down the 5, I see those signs, about
dams, not trains.
Yeah, I've been seeing those signs since at least 2009 when I moved down to LA. Nothing has been done for the last 16 years about that, about dumping the water into the ocean, and Democrats calling it a myth also.
Yeah, they are part of this woke mindset that the environment is so the paramount issue, that we are destroying it and we have to do all these things to help save these small little fish because they're feeder fish, right? But they're not even native to California. And we're not focusing on we the people. We're always putting we the people last in this cult of woke environmentalism. We need to be able to take care of ourselves first. And if we do that by building out infrastructure to create the abundance of water, which we can very easily do in California, or use the resources at our disposal, like, for example, the logging industry, which we're not really doing a good job with. I mean, the fact that we have these wildfires is because we're not using our resources. We're not having loggers come in and remove the invasive bark beetle and use that as a way to bring in an additional revenue stream to the state. Right now, the only way the state makes money is through taxation, when we have all these tools at our disposal. And then they overregulate small business and people from having the ability to create wealth for themselves. And that's why people are fleeing, and that's why the cost of living is so high.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. What do you think of the current housing proposals, such as AB 609 and SB 607, in terms of their potential impact on affordability?
Well, I think it's a lot of pie in the sky, and it's only going to probably do more harm than good. When you add more regulatory processes, it only makes it more stringent, and folks they're not being incentivized to create here. I mean, the fact that even though like contractors, for example, they have to get insurance for their part-time hires, right? That's a cost prohibitive component to getting houses built. I mean, there's a lot of factors involved there.
Well, yeah, and so we have rising utility costs, rising food costs. Now, tell me what policies you would additionally recommend to alleviate the financial burden on Californians, of all the above.
Well, I mean, we have to invest in the infrastructure. We have to invest in getting the water and saving the water. I mean, it's really easy. You dig a hole, you line it with concrete. Congratulations. That's a reservoir. We have the Sierra Nevadas. I mean, you do know that Mammoth is going to be having ski season extended now to June 15th. So we get plenty of water, plenty of H2O. It just comes in different forms. So we have to capture the snowpack at the high elevations, building dams all along the Sierra Nevadas. I mean, there's all sorts of simple things to do, and part of the solution that I want to help get it done with is putting the homeless population to work, getting them off drugs, getting them into a work program, getting them mental health, and giving them a shovel and having them pour concrete. It's a public works program that they earn a living wage doing, that brings water abundance to the state, and it saves us money. And then the idea is to create such an abundance of water that we can then turn around and sell it via our Colorado River shed to those who we share it with, like Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, for profit.
Yeah, have friends who are still, I believe, snowboarding this time of year. Leo, I get asked this all the time. Why are we still here?
Well, because we know how great California can be. And you can't run away from this woke Marxist, globalist, plan to destroy America. It starts in California. Hollywood and the big tech overlords, they're pretty much all located in California. The battle is here. If we surrender California, you might as well surrender the country, because eventually, if you keep running away from your issues, they're going to catch up and find you, and you'll have nowhere else to go.
Thank you.
So stand your ground and fight.
Yeah, I mean that's what I always say is that California is like the Wuhan lab of the communist experiment, and we have to contain it at its source. And it's like that movie Paranormal Activity, where the priest comes and they're like, should we leave the house? He's like, you can leave the house, but it's going to follow you. It doesn't matter if you leave the house, it's going to follow you. What they're talking about is a new world order, not a new state order. It's contagious. We can all flock to Florida and hide out, but then I mean, they have designs on the entire country, on the entire world. So
Yep.
that's always my argument. Now, okay, here's another headline. So, Democrat enthusiasm for Kamala Harris's potential 2026 California gubernatorial bid appears rather muted. This is good news for you. Despite her prominence, her absence from the recent California Democrat convention, opting instead for, I believe, a brief video address, has drawn criticism from her own party delegates. So concerns are lingering about her past decisions as California's Attorney General and her perceived focus on national ambitions over state issues. This has led to increased support for other Democrat contenders, as her delayed decision-making creates uncertainty within the party. So given the tepid response from Democrats to Kamala Harris's potential gubernatorial aspirations, what does this suggest about the party's current dynamics and priorities in California?
Well, I think they're losing their cohesion, which is fine. I'd rather have them infighting with each other, but they still don't know how to capture the Republican, or let alone the middle ground person. They've gone so far woke, they've gone so far left, and all the issues that we have in California. I mean, you can literally point to anything, whether it's the cost of living or education or crime or gas prices, you name it. There's so many issues in California, and there's nobody to blame except for Democrats, because they've had the supermajority for as long as they have. Kamala proved to the nation that she was not capable as vice president, and a bumbling buffoon through the whole 2024 election cycle that she was officially the candidate. Uh, she's a horrible candidate. The Democrats don't have a deep deck of people to call on to run for office. And so this is good news for conservatives or people who want to have a chance to have a Republican governor, because we have a lot of notable Democrats up and down the ticket, and they'll divide the vote. And I hope they do.
So, how might her past record as Attorney General and her national political profile influence her viability as a gubernatorial candidate in the eyes of California voters?
I mean, you just point back to the simple failures. I mean, the fact that she was keeping people in prison longer than they were supposed to, I mean, is just a clear, and she laughs about it. There's a video where she talks about this. I mean, all you have to do is just remind people of these simple, egregious and I wouldn't even call them mistakes or errors, just acts that she's unleashed upon the people. Clearly, she doesn't care about you. If she's willing to have you overstay your sentence, then what does that represent? What does that show the people how she's going to care for the people of California?
Yeah.
It's heartless.
Well, listen, thank you so much for stopping by. It's great to see you again, and we wish you the best on your campaign.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Coming up, Kathy Hochul allocated $17 million for V8 engines despite her own state's mandate against emissions. Stefan Mihailu is here to discuss.